You ready?
I'm ready, brother.
All right. So let's rock this place, okay? All right.
Let's love this place.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll start now.
I would like Deepak
Um,
to do a little prayer before we start because believe
yeah,
me,
sure. Let's do a prayer before we
let's do
start,
a one
okay?
minute of silence and then let's pray to the gods to give us wisdom
Mm-hmm.
and lightness so that we can create value for everyone who passes by us.
All right.
Amen.
Okay. Amen. All right. So let's begin. Okay. Are we recording, Dino? Just give me a thumbs up if you're recording. All right. Here we go. So, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Leader's Edge. Well, you know that the Leader's Edge is an ongoing leadership series by Speakers Bureau. And we feature guests from all over the country, speakers, consultants, HR managers, sales managers, VPs, presidents, and we feature them all given a certain topic where they are supposed to talk about certain aspects of leadership. And guess what? This is already the 11th episode of The Leader's Edge. Isn't that exciting? Check us out always on YouTube and let's get started. So, our next guest and the person who's going to enlighten us today, okay, is first of all, let's just tell you what he does. He's a business consultant. He's a keynote speaker. He trains. He's a corporate trainer, and I call him a serial author because he never stops writing books. He just keeps writing books and writing books. You know what I mean? So he's a serial author. He's an all-around nice guy, and I am proud to say he's my friend. Let me all welcome you. Let me all introduce you to our next guest, Mr. Raju Mandyan. Raju, hi.
Hi, Boom. Thank you very much. Great introduction. And I want to tell you that you are my friend too. More than a friend, I feel that you're my brother.
Oh,
So I'm
thank you,
happy to be
Raju.
here in your presence. And the other thing was you said enlighten. Perhaps not enlighten, just share. Just
Ha,
share some thoughts and experiences that I've had, and hopefully it'll help the audience.
don't worry, that will enlighten them because it sure does me sometimes. When I was reading your article, it did, right? Okay, and I think your topic tonight is wait. Let's see. It's about the 5 insights to thrive and succeed. 5 insights to thrive and succeed. That's curious. I wonder what they are. Are you wondering, audience? Are you wondering? Well, I'm wondering. So let's can we dive into this already? Wait, before anything else, Raju, did I miss any intro? Did I miss anything from the intro?
Oh, no, no, no. Boom, you completed it. You did more than justice to it. I'm thankful for it. That's okay.
Okay, great. So I'm going to dive into the very first question, and I think the audience wants to know what are those 5 insights to thrive and succeed?
Right. Boom, actually, it's a good thing that you mentioned 5 insights and you kind of stressed the word five. And just
Mhm.
at that moment, it struck me that one could live a life with just one insight.
All right. Okay.
You know, before I go into the 5 insights, and I want to share a little story I heard one time. Someone asked Confucius at his deathbed. They asked him that, Confucius, if you were to relive your life, if you were to redo everything that you've done, all the wisdom that you've shared in all these 100 years of your lifetime, what would you redo and correct yourself in? And his response was, he said, I've got thousands of books in my library. Each of those books is a philosophy by itself. And he said, if I had just taken one book, any one of those thousands of books in my library, and I just followed one book, I think my life would have been just about all right. So to answer that question about 5 insights, I think we could just go with one. Or like my friend Jack Canfield, we could go for 124 insights in life and maybe apply them all and maybe not apply them all. So I offer 5, or let's share 5, just so that they become easy to remember. And then beyond the main dish, we have some dessert and some starters to go. Is that
Okay,
okay?
so this is a meal we're having right now. Okay,
This is a
cool.
feast. Yes, this is a
Okay,
feast.
so let's go with the starters. What is the starter?
Okay, the starter, one of the things that over the years of this short plus long life of mine, and not very early in life, but a little bit late in my life, I learned that I kind of came to understand the word abundance, a sense of abundance. You know, we all talk about it, like think abundantly or have an abundance mindset. It struck me much, much late, like a few years ago, it struck me that honestly, if you want something and whatever you want, you don't want it beyond this earth. You don't want anything from the planet Mars or from the moon, nothing.
Okay.
Whatever you want is from here, right? From this little piece of globe and earth that we have. It could be happiness, it could be peace, it could be wealth, it could be recognition. And it strikes me that it's all there for our getting. That means no one's stopping us from doing any of these things, being happy, being peaceful, being wealthy financially or otherwise, being knowledgeable, or getting recognition. There's no one saying, don't do it. There's a law against this. None, right? So basically it's out there. It's out there for us to go and get it. The question is, how do we approach this abundant world? With what kind of a mindset do we approach it? Do we go towards it thinking that, yes, it's possible for me? Or do I go into it thinking, oh my gosh, it's a tough world. It's a dog-eat-dog world. If I go out there, they'll stop me. They'll compete against me. They'll put me down. They'll be bitter. They'll be jealous, and they'll take revenge. I don't think anyone's out there whose mission is to get in the way of Raju or Boom, right? So,
well, there might be a few, but
sorry?
No, just kidding.
No, honestly, that's a good point. You know, there might be none, zero, actually none, because they're pretty busy with their own lives. And if they want to get in your way, they're losing their life. They're getting out of their own life to get in your life.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, think of it, you know. So I don't know how this happened or how we came about to be programmed in such a way that people are out there to get us. I think we need to kind of rework and reinstall that program. It probably has some virus infection to it. So the belief is that it's a good world. It's a happy world.
It's a
gift. An abundant world. It's a gift. Much better said, you know, quote unquote, it's a gift. And it's a once in a lifetime gift. There's never been a proof of it being repeated again. I don't know, has any great grandfather of yours come back and said, boy, I'm here for the second time around? No.
No
one's come back. Not from my clan, not from the 20 generations of the Mandyan family. No one's come back and said, hey, I just got back. You know, it was pretty good and I missed this life. No one's come back. So it's a once in a lifetime chance. And my opinion since that day when I kind of came into this awareness is that I'm gonna be happy tomorrow morning, starting now. and then day after. That means whatever comes to me, it is coming to me because I am drawing it to me, or I'm moving towards it. And it's totally up to me what I do with what's coming towards me or what I'm going towards.
How, how,
So,
how do you how do you address people who, like in this pandemic right now, are feeling that life is not really that abundant? How would you talk to them about this?
right, very good. Great question. And honestly, not that I don't think about it, like why has life become so tough the last 6 months?
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I think that I'm looking at this life from this perspective of where I am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the midst of the commotion, in the chaos. I'm in the midst of this crisis. How can I have a higher view? So the higher view would be, let's say if I go up 25,000 miles up into the atmosphere and I
Mm-hmm.
can see time. I
Okay.
can see a few hundred years in the past and I see a few hundred years into the future. And I go higher up and I go see 1,000 years in the past and 1,000 years into the future. So today, if mankind is affected by this little virus, not little, okay, painful
Not
today,
little, yeah.
but
Okay.
it might not be painful 100 years from now,
True.
right?
True,
So
yeah.
sometimes, like, for example, the planet Earth, the lovely planet Earth, sometimes has a tsunami, sometimes it has an earthquake,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes volcanic eruptions happen. Does the planet Earth complain? No, it's part of the process. This time, this species, this creation of providence is being impacted, right? So maybe we should wait out, we should pray, and then we should, of course, try to survive because we have been given a will and
Uh-huh.
intelligence. We have been
Yes.
given that. So we need to survive it and then go through it, no? So big
Yeah.
picture view, 50 years from now, I'm not saying there may be a good thing out of it,
Mm-hmm.
but it'll be part of the process of mankind's evolution.
Exactly. And I think that's what makes men different from others. We're problem solvers. And basically, abundance means, you have a problem now and you solve it because we're always given the tools around us to be able to solve that or address that problem.
Rightly so, rightly so. The other thing that mankind has been given,
Mm-hmm.
which other species probably don't have because we don't know, is consciousness
Uh-huh.
and intelligence. That means they don't have this ego thing. The plants, the birds, the bees, and the butterflies, they live by the laws of the nature.
Mm-hmm.
We've been given higher intelligence, and sometimes this higher intelligence creates the challenge because
Mm-hmm.
we are able to argue, we are able to wonder like why. But other creatures of providence don't question this.
Cool. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah?
So our appetizer was trust that life is a gift of abundance. So that's number one.
Correct.
All
Trust.
right.
Life is probably the only gift,
Mm-hmm.
and there is abundance inside that gift. That means you can make anything you want out of it.
All right.
Anything,
So
you know.
how now let's go into the entree.
Andre,
Okay.
okay, let's go.
Yeah. How what's number two?
Number two, what is number two? Number two is that though this life is a gift, and it's a beautiful gift, you can't sit idle. Yeah, you've been given movement, you've been given intelligence, you've been given conscious. You can't sit idle. That means you have to go and serve your needs. That means you have to work, any kind of a
Okay.
work. You
Yes,
could be
work.
a
Uh-huh.
farmer, you
Mm-hmm.
could be a farmer, you could be a garbage collector, or you could be Dr. Philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
You could be the guru of the world, or you could be the garbage collector of the world. Both these tasks have respect in them. And both these individuals or entities, they both need to work constantly. So sometimes what happens is when people have a profession,
All right.
let's say that their profession is their passion driven or that is their purpose and they choose it, and sometimes they don't choose it, sometimes they have to live with it. The thing is that people kind of complain about what they have to do.
Yeah.
They keep on saying life is hard, work is hard. I have to go to work 9 to 5. Now, since COVID-19, 1995, COVID-19, I've been sitting on this desk and it's such a hard life. Well, there has to be struggle because struggle is the proof of your existence.
Okay.
Isipin mo, pag walang struggle, wala nang signs ng buhay.
Exactly. Right. Right. Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Aren't you happy that you have to struggle tomorrow morning? What if you had no struggle tomorrow morning?
But you know what? That brought me back to a little. My sister, who died of cancer,
Yeah.
was prescribed morphine, and she declined the morphine. And the doctor asked her why, and then she said it's because the pain makes her know that she's still alive.
Good, good, right, good. I
Yeah,
mean, that's
and
a very good viewpoint, by the way. I'm
uh-huh,
not saying it's the smartest thing to
yeah,
do, but
uh-huh,
it's a great perspective of life.
hmm yeah,
Uh,
exactly. The struggle makes the life.
yeah, struggle is the proof of life.
Uh-huh,
Striving is the proof of life. When you wake up in the morning and you go brush your teeth and say, what productive thing am I going to do today? That is a proof of your existence. I mean,
yes.
can you imagine? Let's just take an example. At the start
hmm
of this COVID, for the first 3 weeks, people
hmm
really didn't know what to do.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
then
That's
they
right.
began to become productive. And at this stage today, we are kind of struggling between fighting off the challenge and being productive at the same time. I come from a land called India. I've been in this country.
Really? I didn't know.
I come from outer space, Krypton.
Oh,
I am Krypton.
okay.
So, of course, I dip, not dip, I dive into some of the old philosophies of Rumi and Ghalib and someone called Allama Iqbal.
hmm
You probably don't know them, but
hmm
they are philosophers from the 19th century, and all of that India, China, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, they follow these philosophers. And one of them claims, based on what you mentioned about, was it your sister or cousin who refused the
My
medicine?
sister, my sister.
And one of them claims, and in fact, I wrote this in my book, the second book on the heart of humor. I wrote this that pain is, no, his statement is when pain crosses a certain threshold, it becomes the cure.
Oh,
Pain, when it crosses a certain threshold, it
that's.
becomes the cure, it becomes healing. And this is Ghalib from India. But
hmm
Gibran, Khalil Gibran, who you might have read or heard about,
Yeah, I've
because
heard
he's
of
more
him, but I
popular.
haven't read. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's more popular than Ghalib. Ghalib was known within the Urdu language. Gibran was
hmm
known outside of the Urdu language. His statement, pain is the breaking of the shell of understanding.
Oh, wow.
Isipan mo, coconut, right? And when you
uh-huh.
smash it,
hmm
masakit yung uh, buko, coconut, right? It's
Yeah.
hard for it. But what comes out of it is fruit,
Is yeah.
right? So think
Uh-huh.
of it. Anytime you go through a hardship,
hmm
you've been through many. I know you, boom. I
Yeah.
mean, so as everyone who probably listens to this conversation between us, we all go through that pain.
hmm
And what happens to us when we come out of that pain
We
around us?
yeah, we become better people
Right, right,
actually.
right. So the point, the insight that which we need to establish is that whatever work you do, part of the gift of life.
hmm
So don't consider your work to be a job, the
hmm
biblical job, because that was a
Yeah.
punishment. So
Yeah.
people think that we are being punished by the work we have, no matter what kind of work we have, whether you chose it or it
hmm
landed upon you,
hmm
just go. It's been given to you, take it and do it.
All right. So I mean, so it's like the struggle or the work creates value.
Correct. That's what makes the world go round.
All right.
That's
So
what
I. hmm
that's what makes us second to the creator. because we create
Exactly.
stuff in his favor, in alignment to what is being done, right?
Right, right, right. That was very insightful, and yeah, that's true. When you do a hard job and you're successful in doing it, it becomes you feel great. It's like
Yeah.
your value as a person is lifted.
Correct, correct. Because you accomplish something, you produce something, and you are creating something in this world. You're adding to it. And why would you hesitate
Yeah.
from the size of your creation, from the size of the results? Whether
Uh-huh.
it is a small hill or a mountain you're building, just be happy with it.
I,
I wanna, if you don't mind, can I share a quick little incident that occurred?
sure, 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 sure. Go ahead, go ahead.
I was at the AIM a couple of years ago. I
Mm-hmm.
don't remember what event it was, and it had to do something with HR and OD. And I was
Okay.
sitting in the one of the back rows, and a woman. I hope she listens to this one. I
Mm-hmm.
know her last name was Lapid, as in like Lapid
Yeah.
Chichar.
Oh yeah,
And she
lapid.
came and sat next to me. She was about my age. And then we were both listening to the speaker, and she said, she turned to me, she said, Raju, I've been out of this for 30 years, and I feel kind of disoriented, and it's like I lost a chunk of my life. And I asked her, what have you been doing for 30 years? And she said, my husband fell sick. And for the last 30 years, I've been looking after him. And I tell you, boom, tears roll down my eyes. Because, think of it, man.
Uh-huh.
That was the work given to her by providence, by circumstance, by chance, by
Mm-hmm.
choice, whatever means, she got that assignment
Mm-hmm.
and she saw it through. You know? Then I told her, I said, so what? I think that was as important as looking after 1 million people. Same thing, no? So I think respect for the work and
Mm-hmm.
not regarding it as a punishment
Mm-hmm.
is the insight that I'd like to establish, no
Okay.
matter
I
what
have
kind of work you do.
I have here a quote from Khalil Gibran. Is that was that
Well,
correct?
some people, the Filipinos call it Gibran, but it's Khalil.
Gibran.
No, that's really Gibran, Khalil Gibran.
Gibran. Oh, so I said it correctly.
Yeah,
Yeah, all right. So it says here a pearl is a product of pain. An oyster becomes extraordinary only when a speck enters the shell and creates pain. This
right.
causes the oyster to wrap the speck in a pearl-like substance. Over time, it becomes a beautiful object.
How does iron ore become steel? How
Yes.
does charcoal become a diamond?
Mm-hmm.
And
How
how
does
does an
gold?
ordinary human being become Boom San Agustin?
I could say the same for Radio Manyan, right?
For
Okay, we're
anyone, for all of us.
yeah, for anyone, exactly.
Yeah, for all of us.
And for anyone actually, just name any successful person in the world or someone even
Well,
mildly successful, and it's the same thing.
successful is a relevant word. It's your perspective. You
Uh-huh.
know, a guy standing on the corner of Zapote and Yage Street and selling paintings for 500 pesos, sells 2 paintings a week, is successful from his perspective. He's happy, he's
Mm-hmm.
thrilled, and he makes those little paintings of Bayani Han and etc. etc. He's
Yeah,
successful, So is Bill Gates.
yeah, Bill
So is
Gates.
Jack Ma, and so is the painter on Yagi Corner Zapote.
It depends. I think it's a perspective. If you
Yeah,
think if you can be the richest person in the world, but if you think you're a failure, you're a failure.
absolutely.
Right. So I guess it's how you see yourself that makes you
Yeah,
successful,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
Okay, and how you strive.
yeah.
So yeah, so that was number two. Okay, that
Correct.
was like consider every job to be like value creating work,
Right.
right? So let's see. Now let's go to number three.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is we're already in the first part of the main course. Okay,
That's part of
so
the main course. So we are now approaching the big, nice, juicy steak of
yeah, we're good. All
go
right.
for it. Yeah.
What can you? What's number three, by the way?
So number three, if my memory supports me today, now that I'm a senior citizen, is
I
number one, life's a gift,
mm-hmm.
right? Bam,
Yeah,
it's like a
yeah,
nice, huge Christmas wrapping, and you
yeah.
gotta unpack it to go into
Mm-hmm.
the gift.
Yes.
Correct?
Number
That's the work you
number.
have to do. You have to do. The
Mm-hmm.
third one is that, you know, in your past,
Mm-hmm.
you've been unpacking a lot of gifts,
Mm-hmm.
correct? Now,
Yeah, that's right.
sometimes people look back
Mm-hmm.
and they go, man, 2019 was terrible. Oh my gosh, 2017 was hell, right?
Uh-huh.
So they go back, oh man, that business deal or that partnership, etc., was so terrible, man. That was the worst partnership ever. And
Mm-hmm.
then you think about it like, why are you looking back and gathering all the regrets and bringing them into the present? Why are you doing
Oh.
that? What is the purpose of that, right? You passed them through, you learned through them, and you are here because you journeyed through that. So what people do is usually go back to the past and look at it from a very dark and a shady and a clouded lens.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone.
Yeah.
It's
So,
gone. The more you go back to it, the more it will take up your reality in real time.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, you'll be
Okay.
spending precious mental energy thinking about what happened back in 1996. And this, you're not going to
Yeah,
go
yeah.
back and correct it.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true. That's very true.
What was that DiCaprio movie that he wanted to go back and get his girlfriend? Gatsby, the great Gatsby. Remember?
Ah, yeah, yeah.
He
Uh-huh.
keeps saying, I'm going to bring the past into the future. And his sidekick, the Spider-Man, says, there's no way you're going to recreate the past. So one of the things that I realized that going from abundance to the fact that we have to open up the gift is that any gift that you were unhappy about in the past, please don't put up pictures of those negative here. Place
Mm-hmm.
them here. Your successes, your
Okay.
achievements, your family's achievements, all the good laughter, put it here. And when you mix your current life with all the happy memories of the past, your
Mm-hmm.
future is going to become better because your
Yeah.
benchmark will change, because how you measure life will change, right?
Okay.
How you set your expectations will change. They will all become positive,
Mm-hmm.
optimistic, filled with energy.
So you
So,
have to reframe those things you regret. Is that correct?
yeah, reframe your regrets into something resilient and something
Uh-huh.
hopeful.
All right. So reframe the regrets into something right.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, something hopeful.
yeah,
Okay.
something hopeful.
So I mean, but um, let's just say. I mean, I've had this argument with several people in the past. Okay, and then they say that life is unfair, and that they keep telling me, because they say you're just a Francis Kong wannabe. Well, I think that's okay by me, right? If I do want to be like him, but then they say you're just feeding people false hope, and they tell me these things. They really do. I've had one person argue with me vehemently, telling me that all I'm doing is feeding people false hope, and I'm not addressing reality by reframing these regrets into something positive. Although I know he's wrong, right? But how would you address that?
If somebody said, Raju, this is all baloney,
Yeah.
well, I'd settle for his opinion. Like, what's his opinion of life? And he
Mhm.
goes, this is my opinion of life. And I would ask him, are you happy with it? Then what would his answer be?
I don't know, because
No, because
he's a J he's all yeah.
he's not happy with what paradigms he sustains, right?
Yes, yes, that's
His whole
true.
paradigm is negative. So what makes you happy? He say, I don't know. Well, at least I know that these things make me happy.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know, right? So
Right.
there will always be people. There will always be Thomases who will doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there will always be doubting Thomases, and I think that's why uh, leadership comes in. That's where you and I come in. That through all the challenges, through all the resistances, through all the naysayers, we need to follow the thing that's working inside of us. And inside of
Mhm.
us, it's saying that this is a gift. I need to work, right? I need to look at things positive, and you need to be passionate and sold on that subject matter. And you need to keep on doing it because it won't change the world in one snap.
Mhm.
So you need to keep on doing it, and that's the journey. So there will
Yeah.
always be naysayers, boom. And even
Mhm.
if you are uh, emulating someone, and
Yeah.
that's fine. That's fine. I mean,
Yeah. Why
we
not?
were
Right.
we were
Whatever
not
works.
born we were not born with content. We were not even born with a processor or some applications. We were born with a structure which could
Mhm.
take in new programs, which could take in new apps,
Mhm.
right? And we are using them. So what if we look at some app and somebody's processor and say, okay, that processing works for me, I'll do
Mhm.
it, fine. Because think of it, whether you are emulating someone, we're all connected. We're all connected. We are learning from
Mhm.
each other. Can you imagine a life that we are not learning from other people?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Who am I
get that.
learning from? I didn't come down from the heavens with a book.
Mhm.
Neither was there a USB attached to me which I could plug in. None.
Okay, let's go to the actual main course. This is the I think for me when I was reading your article, this is the heart of your five. Okay, the number four. Okay,
Yeah.
so what the I think it has something to do with goals and how you get to your goal. Okay,
Well,
can you
you
explain? Can you
well, you're a
explain?
coach, Boom, and you are also a sales consultant. You're also
That's
a
true.
motivational speaker, and all of us talk about the importance of goals. What exactly do goals mean?
Mm-hmm.
So most all of us dream. No dreams,
Mm-hmm.
no mind, right?
Right. That's right. That's
All of
right.
us dream. We dream about tomorrow. We dream about tonight, right? Or call it a hope, call it a vision, call it an expectation, what have you, right? That means we are looking forward to be in a certain place and create an environment for ourselves and, of course, for
Mm-hmm.
people around us. And maybe if we are of a stronger mind, of a stronger will, then we are trying to create value for a larger community. It depends
Mm-hmm.
on our guts and our courage. In Tagalog, we call it depende sa tapang natin. Di
Yeah.
ba? So all of us have those expectations. Now, the thing is that you really can't jump into that expectation, which is into the distance. You have to walk.
Yeah.
You have to walk. You have to run. Maybe you can take a
Uh-huh.
motorcycle or drive, doesn't matter. But the journey has to be made.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever a journey has to be made, there have to be milestones. We have to
Mm-hmm.
know when to make a left turn, when to make a right turn, when
Mm-hmm.
to pay the toll. So these are milestones. So we
Yes.
need to specify them that we'll make a right turn after 20 miles. So that's a specific goal.
Mm-hmm.
After 20 miles, right turn is a goal. What
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
means is that if you're dreaming and if your dream is larger than you need to take careful, measured steps towards it. That's a goal.
Okay.
Why? Because look, 8 billion people are moving towards goals.
Mm-hmm.
8 billion people in the world are moving towards something that they want. And there is traffic.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to decide where you want to go, how you want to go, how much energy you want to invest in it, how much time and money you want to spend in it, whose partnership you want to call for, and then
Mm-hmm.
go towards it. So that becomes a really a cognitive effort rather
Yes.
than just an emotive effort of dreaming. It becomes a cognitive effort, and we
Yeah.
need that journey. We need that map to follow, and we need
Mm-hmm.
to create that map ourselves.
Yeah.
So a
And you
friend of mine,
mentioned.
an American,
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm
no, no,
sorry
no,
to
no,
cut you
no,
off.
no, 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 no. I'm talking too much.
No, no. You mentioned like in the article I read something that said like you achieve your goals inch by inch, and
Yeah, yeah,
it reminded me of a movie I watched, Any Given Sunday. If you watch
yeah.
Al
Al
Pacino,
Pacino.
and
Yeah, yeah. I love that.
Cameron Diaz. Okay,
Yeah, yeah. I know that.
and then he had this speech, and he said, "Life is a measure of inches." and seconds. And he says, you win a game by inches because it's a
Yeah,
football game. You
right.
don't win. You win if you're 1 inch ahead of the other person. You've won. Okay, you've won.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
life is a game of inches, and
yeah.
that just reminded me of that
No.
speech that
Right,
Al
right. I
Pacino
remember I
made.
watched that speech, and of course, Al Pacino is a fabulous actor,
Yes.
speaker, and
Uh,
the only thing that speech was that from his perspective,
mhm.
the world was a battlefield,
Yes.
and you want to win it inch by inch.
Hmm.
The difference that I'm putting across is that the
Hmm.
world is not a battlefield. Yes,
Okay.
it's a large world. It's a lot
Hmm.
of people are moving around, and then we need to move with compassion. But yes, we need to inch up. We need to
Yes.
inch up. But in the process of inching up, we don't need to scratch someone else.
Got it.
And
Yes.
we
True.
don't need to scratch someone else. We don't need to drag someone down. We don't need to be crabs. Yeah, we don't
Uh-huh.
need to be crabs.
Talangka.
How I picked up this phrase was several years ago. There was a motorcycle supplier, not a supplier, but somebody who wanted to put up a Harley Davidson
Hmm.
dealership in the Philippines, and he was an American, and he came looking for a life partner in this country. And he said, I remember it was so beautiful. He said, uh, yard by yard, life is very hard.
Yard by yard, life is very hard. I like that.
Inch by inch, it's a cinch.
Oh,
Isn't that
okay. All
cool?
right. That's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool.
Because
I'll keep that one. That's cool.
yard by yard, it's very hard. Inch by
Uh-huh.
inch, it's a cinch. And that's why every morning a
Hmm.
farmer goes out to plow his land, to till
Hmm.
his land, to plow, to put in seeds, to water it, to pull out the weeds. And that's why you and I, every single day, we come
Hmm.
to our laptops.
Yeah.
We we take in data, we take in knowledge, and then we kind of blend it around and we create something valuable for our customers, our clients, our stakeholders. And that's
Okay.
our job. We need to come to it inch by inch. Can you imagine that if you got an assignment,
Hmm.
consulting assignment, and bang, all you had to do was flip a green switch, and there you had a solution for them. Wala naman, di ba?
Yeah.
You need to do needs analysis, you need to talk to the client, etc., etc. Then you come back and you research some paradigms and put them
Hmm.
into practice, go to them, deliver it, measure it. That's goal setting. That's
Yeah.
goal
That's true.
achievement.
That's true. I agree with you 100%. I agree
Yeah.
with you. But I love that saying. Okay, yard. Okay, yard by yard, the life is hard. But inch by inch, it's a cinch. I like
Yes.
that saying. Cool.
Yes.
And that is the saying for the night audience. That is the saying for the night. Take that down.
Great.
You heard
Great.
it first here.
I have
Okay.
something else.
Go
I have
ahead. Go ahead.
something to substantiate that statement.
Hmm.
How much time do we have here?
We have about 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Ah,
Okay, I'll give you
yeah.
a 90-second story.
Okay.
Uh, like you, I idolize someone in India.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very popular actor, and now he's a very good social worker. He's been around for 45, 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
And his father was a poet. And he shares a story. He says, my father used to go for a walk every day,
Mm-hmm.
in New Delhi. And then every day he would come back from a 60 minutes walk. He'd bring back a unique rock,
Okay.
something to place in the family garden. And that was father's hobby, bringing back rocks from his walks. That I
Mm-hmm.
like that, rocks from his walks. No?
Okay.
And one day, Daddy-O
Mm-hmm.
comes to the door, not with a rock, but with a boulder
Oh.
the size of the door of his house, and he's brought it to the house. And son goes down to father and says, Father, how did you bring this boulder to the house? Every day you bring home a rock the size of a tennis ball or a football. This time you brought back something the size of a door. How did you do it, Daddy-O?
And
Daddy-O says, I didn't bring it in today. For the last 3 months I've been walking. Every time I push this rock few inches towards our house, it was like about a few miles away. And
mm-hmm.
today, after 3 months of pushing it just a bit by bit, bit by bit, it's in our garden. So
Okay. Yeah, that
yeah,
is it. That explains the inches very well. I Okay, now it's time for dessert, Raju.
Yes,
So
brother.
I think the last part was about thinking in systems and think
Yes,
ecology.
yes.
How do you explain this?
So again, this is wisdom from someone else. Boom. The
Mm-hmm.
wisdom is from a gentleman called Peter Senge, Dr. Peter
Mm-hmm.
Senge, the author of the book called The Fifth Discipline.
Ah,
And
okay.
the way I came to it was through another gentleman called Professor Gonzalez, Dicky Gonzalez.
Ah, okay.
AIM, LaSalle, Dicky Gonzalez, must be in his 70s now, lives in Alabama, little goatee and shiny head. And
Yeah.
he one day asked me to do a little event at the Asian Institute of Management for
Mm-hmm.
system thinking. I had no idea what system thinking was. At that time, I used to do creative thinking,
Yeah,
innovation.
yeah, yeah.
And so I hit the books.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the most amazing philosophy ever.
Mm-hmm.
And the most amazing practical philosophy ever. And what does this say? So it says, so it comes from the book, The Fifth Discipline. And of course, it's almost the same as what I've shared with you.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, According to Senge, there are five disciplines. One is mental models, mindset,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
mindset. And I'm trying to remember the other three, but the last of the three, the last of the five, according to Senge, is systems thinking. What is that? That means here I am, yours truly, Raju Mantian, formerly from India, currently from the Philippines,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a dream,
Oh,
right? I have a dream, quote unquote, Martin Luther. I have
Martin
a dream.
Luther King. Right. Yeah.
I have a dream, and I want to go through a dream, and I begin to work. Insight number two, I begin to work towards my dream, and then I look back at my past, and I'm happy with my past, and I'm moving inch by inch. Correct? I'm focused
Correct.
towards my destination. I want to
Mm-hmm.
go. I want to go to Timbuktu. I want to hit Dumaguete or whatever the destination in my mind is. But on my journey, realize this that I am a social animal. That
Mm-hmm.
means I have a family. I have people who care for me, people who depend on me, and there are people who are affected, impacted by what I do,
Okay.
right? So when I journey towards my dream, I go inch by inch every single day. I must kind of become aware of these relationships, these networks, these systemic links with people who care for me, people who are attached with me, people who will be impacted by my passion, by my focus, because they
Mm-hmm.
have needs from me and they offer me things and they're linked to me. No, it's becoming socially conscious, it's becoming economically conscious, it's becoming
Okay.
ecologically conscious. So I mustn't do anything, or at least I must refrain, try my utmost, try my bestest,
Mm-hmm.
if there is such a word in the English language, to not create harm. That means if I am, you know, driven towards something, I should be careful that I don't step on Boom's toes.
Well,
Or
there,
if I
there.
move too fast,
Mm-hmm.
uh, my son and his family doesn't lose my support, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or if I am uh, building a bridge or a dam
Mm-hmm.
across a river, I need to make sure that the people who were receiving or living off that river
Mm-hmm.
have some means. I need to be careful of those ecological connections. And I'm not talking
Right.
of just nature, I'm talking of human relationships.
Yeah.
So that is system thinking. That means thinking beyond what I see, not just thinking
Mm-hmm.
in a linear manner, but thinking in a very complex manner,
Yeah.
thinking through what can be impacted and then gently moving forward.
So
And
it's not just result orientation; it's also process orientation.
it's consciousness, it's
Yeah.
awareness of
Okay.
other, of the
Awareness.
other,
Uh
it's
huh.
absolute awareness of the other, no?
Uh huh.
Because like in any complex system,
Mm-hmm.
let's say a car, so the pinaka simplest system is a bicycle,
Okay.
correct? And if you choose that, hey, I prefer that my front wheel should be a really big one. That's my dream.
Mm-hmm.
And you shove it into the bicycle. And the rest of the framework and the moving parts of the bicycle can't carry that,
Mm-hmm.
then your dream is not doing justice to the systems.
Yeah, and it'll break it down anyways.
It will break down systems, it will impact other systems. Yes, correct.
Mm-hmm.
So systems will shatter. So two things happen when we make these decisions. No, whatever decisions we take and we begin
Mm-hmm.
to go towards them, sometimes that journey towards that dream or that decision creates something called virtuous cycles. That means the
Okay.
impact is positive all around.
Mm-hmm.
Not just positive, but fruitful and beneficial to all and benign to all. And then sometimes it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
It creates negative impact, it creates harm, it draws blood, it becomes malignant, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then again, our job, our intelligence that Providence provided us, that's where we discern between what's a virtuous cycle and a vicious cycle, and that
Mm-hmm.
is systems thinking.
Okay. Anyway, actually, thanks for wrapping that up because we're already close to the end of time right here. But let's just do a summary. So the first one, the first of your what's this again? 5 insights to thrive and succeed. The first part is trust that life is a gift of abundance. Correct? The
Yep.
next one is consider every job to be value creating work. Okay? Then the third one is reframe regrets into right thought or right decisions. And then you have the fourth one, which I love the most really, is work your goals inch by inch. And then finally, think systems, think ecology. So that's a very good wrap up. I think that's a holistic way of looking at things. All right. So Raju, thank you very much. Is there any final word you'd like to say to the audience?
No, no, Boom. I think you've done a wonderful job, and thanks for being such a great audience to me, because I don't see the rest of the people listening to me, but uh, they say that when the
Mhm.
master is there, the student appears. I'm just kidding. When the student
The
is
student
there,
is
the
there,
master
the
appears.
master
No,
appears.
and you and I
Yes.
both are motivational speakers, and you know that if you have enthralled audience who's
Mm-hmm.
ready and willing, then you kind of do your best,
All
you know.
right.
And creativity really is uh, sparked off by the presence of another, and you are the other. And you've done a great job. So I thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for being a sounding board, a reflection to the value that we both created today.
Thank you very much. And with that, I'd like to end this series. I'd like to end this talk. Thank you again to Mr. Raju Manjan, very wise person. And just as an ender, I'd like to say this: learning is a never ending process with unlimited vistas. And with that, thank you very much. Have a great night.
Marami pong salamat. Bye-bye.